Welcome, collectors and heavy equipment enthusiasts. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Diecast Emporium. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the CCM or Classic Construction Models CAT 983B track type loader in the Ripper configuration. CCM released two versions of this model. Obviously, as I just mentioned, this is the Ripper version, which has a rock bucket, an enclosed cab, and a set of Ripper shanks with a Ripper on the back. The other version is the standard version of this model with an open ROPS, a counterweight on the back, and a general purpose bucket. This model has already been reviewed on this channel before. Take a look at the top right corner of your screen if you'd like to see a video review of this model, which has already been filmed a couple of years ago. Back to the 983 Ripper version. CCM released both of these in 2014. They are now closed edition models, which means you cannot purchase them directly from CCM. You will have to source them on the interweb or from private collectors that may have some of these perhaps stashed somewhere. Introduced in 1978, the powerful 983B track type loader, more commonly referred to today as track loaders, was at the time the largest track loader made by CAT. The 983B enjoyed a 5-year production run from 1978 to 1982. The machine produced 275 horsepower from its 6-cylinder, 893 cubic inch, 3406 diesel engine. A big feature of the 983s was pedal steering, which freed up the operator's hands for the transmission and loader controls. An innovative bucket control system allowed the bucket to rise to a preset dumping height and return to a preset digging angle for fast cycle times. That's some information on the real 983Bs. Let's go back to the model here just for a minute. As I said, released in 2014, it's a closed edition model. At the time that this was released, the Ripper version, this version, had an MSRP of just shy of $250 at $249.95. 983 were produced in the Ripper configuration. If you were to measure this model out, it measures 7 inches long, 2.75 inches wide, and 3 inches tall. All right, let's get to the model review. As we always do, let's start out with the details. Along with that, the paint and decal application, of course, come along with that. Now, since this machine was introduced in the late 70s, that, of course, falls directly in with the Pac-Man era. So you have the accurate paint and markings from the period, that bright, I think it's called highway yellow paint. Here's your Block C logo, 983B, CAT up here. A red squared-off logo, although it's not very legible, so I can't exactly tell you what that says. I'm guessing that either has something to do with a safety label or perhaps the angle of the lift arms. If there's somebody out there that can verify what this is, please, by all means. That's one of the great things about this channel, is that we're here to educate and have fun. So if anybody knows what that is, please let me know down in the comment section below. Turning the machine to the rear, we have a nice rearward-facing windshield wiper on the top portion of the cab, 2 lights, Caterpillar once again here. One of another highlight portion of this model that I really like is the intricate hydraulic line details going to the cylinder at the Ripper. You can see them starting all the way down here. Here, once again, 983B, your Block C logo, that same red squared off, I'm just going to call it a warning label. CAT over here. Your engine venting on both sides and on the front as well is perforated all the way through. You can actually see the pointer going through, so that's very nice. At the front, again, another windshield wiper, some work lights, a silver exhaust stack, yellow air cleaner, Caterpillar at the front. Looking at the bucket, again, you have your spill guard, which that is a die-cast metal piece. This rock bucket has 8 teeth on it. And then that brings us back to where we started. And you can already see that I have opened the doors on both sides of the cab, which give us a look inside the interior of the machine. Black seat, plenty of joysticks or levers that are yellow with the tips of them highlighted in black paint. You can see that it has the different controls towards the front as well, along with the squared off information from the Caterpillar dealership or the Caterpillar factory right here. Again, might be a little bit hard to see, but your machine serial number, time that it was made, all that kind of good stuff. Very cool that CCM replicated that as well. Also, it has the brown or tan interior towards the bottom with the black floor. So lots of interior detailing for this machine. As I said, the doors will open with the help of a pointer, so let's close them now. On the left side, the door opens fully all the way, as you can see, but you may have already noticed on this side, the door only opens halfway to here, while this portion does not seem to open. Close him right back up. Let's take a look under the track loader. Here you can find the details of the tracks, which have some bolt detailing on them. Here's your 5 ripper teeth, or ripper shanks. Here's your bucket teeth, which I mentioned there are 8 of those. There's the CCM logo and my serial number, which is 975, meaning that this is a very late edition in the production run. One of the last 10, of course, with only 983 being made. Now, you can move the tracks as we now make the transition to functionality, but as I said before, I would not recommend moving any of the tracks on the older CCM pieces, just because you don't want to chance them separating or the links breaking. But with some care, if you must, they can be made to move slightly and slowly. We'll start out at the rear this time. The Ripper has a great range of cutting. You can see just how far that will go down. And likewise, you can raise it out of service at a great angle as well. Your height is phenomenal in terms of how high the lifting arms go up. And that is more than enough, although I don't have one here to show you. That's more than enough to go over the side of a 769B, for example, if you want to have an era-correct rigid haul dump truck to go with your 983B. That might be working alongside in a rock quarry, for example. Taking a look at the dump angle, you can see that it's a little shallow, but something is better than nothing. And again, with a dump truck alongside, several views and poses are still available to you. All right, so that's the 983B. I told you we would compare both of them. So that's the most extreme extremities for the height and dump angle for the rock version. Let's do the same for the standard version. And as you can see, at least on mine, it seems as though they're both pretty darn close. If anything, the standard version, this one over here, perhaps maybe the general purpose bucket, doesn't have quite the dumping angle extent as the rock version does. Last thing we'll do before we sign off of the video, of course, is take a look at our serial numbered spec sheet or brochure that, of course, comes with most all of the newer CCM models. Caterpillar 983B track type loader, serial number 975 of 983, attested by Gary Peterson from CCM. We'll open it up to find tons of information from transmission and hydraulic details to operational specifications to different carry and height positions for loads. This is one of my favorite pictures in here. It shows you the serviceability of the ROPS, how the cab would tilt backwards. Built-in convenience, comfort, and protection. Obviously showing you the brake pedals and the steering pedals, which I read to you about how that was an innovative feature on this particular cat machine. Finally, on the back, it shows you the 2 different bucket options that were available with the rock bucket that we saw on this model, and then the general purpose bucket that we saw on the standard version of this model. So that will conclude this Diecast Emporium review of the CCM Cat 983B track type loader, or track loader, let's just call it what it is, in the Ripper configuration. As I said, this one is significantly harder to find and more valuable than the standard version. Don't exactly know why that is. My guess is that more people wanted the one with the Ripper and with the rock bucket and an enclosed cab. But still in all, both versions are now discontinued from the manufacturer, so you will have to source them elsewhere. I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take a look at your screen right now. You will see another suggested link for another recent CCM review that I did. Until next time, take care, be well. I'll see you in the next review.